Hi everybody, today we're going to read Flat Stanley, Stanley in Space. We on chapter 4. In Space. I'll just flip this omelet, said Mrs. Lambchop, making breakfast in the Star Scout. And then, oh dear, the omelet hovered like a frisbee in the air above her. So she flipped the omelet, which is like an egg, and it's hovering. It's floating above her. Mostly, however, after weeks in space, the Lambchops remembered that gravity, the force that holds things down. Okay, so we are sitting in a chair. We're not floating up. That's gravity holding us down. The force that holds us down did not exist beyond Earth. So everything's floating. Look at that. There's the omelet floating above our head. And this is Stanley, and this is Arthur, and this is Mom. They're just floating around. Mr. Lambchop often read now, with his hands clasped behind his head, allowing his book to float before him. And Stanley and Arthur greatly enjoyed pushing from the chairs to drift like feathers across the room. Wouldn't it be fun to float around? I think it would be fun. Raising her pan, Mrs. Lambchop brought down the omelet. After breakfast, she said, "A game of Monopoly?" Oh, that would be interesting, all those pieces floating around. So she took her pie pan and lifted it up in the air and caught the omelet. That would be kind of funny. The first day had, in fact, been exciting. They had to spend many hours at the Star Scout's magnifying windows, watching the bright globe of Earth glow, steadily smaller, until it seemed at last only a pale marble in the black of the space. And there had been many special sights to see: the starry beauty of the Milky Way, the planets, red Mars, giant Jupiter, cloudy Venus, Saturn with its shining rings. So they got to see the planets, they got to see the stars, they got to see Earth. That would be kind of cool, seeing Earth in a faraway distance. The third evening, they appeared on TV news broadcast on Earth. Word of the voyage had began released on the press, and all over the world people were eager to learn how this adventure was proceeding. Standing before the spaceship's cameras, the Lambchop said they felt fine, looked forward to meeting the aliens, and would report nightly while they remained in TV range. The fourth evening, they floated before the camera, demonstrating weightlessness. This was greatly appreciated on Earth, and they floated again the following day. By the sixth evening, however, they were hard-pressed to live their appearance. Mr. Lambchop recite a baseball poem. Casey at the bat, Stanley juggled tennis balls, but the Earth audience, knowing now about weightlessness, saw the balls float when he tossed them up. Arthur did imitations of a rooster, a dog, and a man stuck in a phone booth. After this, while Mrs. Lambchop was singing her college song, he went behind the plastic curtain to undress for a shower and accidentally pulled the curtain down. He was mortified, and he tried later to comfort him. "We will be remembered, Arthur, for our time in space," he said. "Nobody will care about a curtain." "I will be remembered forever," Arthur said. 100 million people saw me in my underwear. The next day was Stanley's birthday, and just after dinner, the screen lit up. There was the president in his short sleeves behind his desk in Washington, D.C. That's pretty cool. So Arthur's celebrating his birthday in space. Stanley's celebrating his birthday in space. This is Stanley juggling. "While there, I'm working late again," the president said. "It's a tough job, believe me." "Happy birthday, Stanley Lambchop. I've arranged a surprise forced your friends from school. There was silence for a moment, broken only by the clearing of throats. And then, for all of the millions of miles away, came the voice of Stanley's classmates singing, "Happy birthday, dear Stanley. Happy birthday to you." Stanley was pleased. "Thanks, everybody," he said. "You too, Mr. President." "That was just the USA part," said the president. "Ready over there in London, Queen?" "We are indeed," the Queen's voice said cheerfully. "And now, Master Lambchop, our famous Westminster Boys Choir." From England, the beautiful voice of the famous choir sung "Happy Birthday, Stanley," all over again. And then other children sung it from Germany, Spain, and France. All this attention to Stanley made Arthur jealous. And then the president said, "By the way, Arthur, you entertained us wonderfully the other night." He was sure this was a tease about his appearance in his underwear. But he was wrong. "Those imitations," the president said, "especially the fellow in the phone booth, darn good." "Indeed," the Queen added from England. "We were greatly amused." "Oh, thank you," said Arthur. The screen had gone blank. They have traveled too far. There would be no more videos from Earth, no voices but their own until they heard from the aliens they had to say. "Suppose the aliens have forgotten we're coming," Stanley said. "We might just sail around in space forever." They had finished the breakfast omelet and were now setting up the Monopoly board because there was nothing more interesting to do. "They didn't even know our names," Arthur said. "What will they call us? Earth people?" said a deep voice. "Very probably," said Mr. Lambchop. "Earth people seems—" "Who said that?" "Not me," said both Stanley and Arthur. "Not I," said Mrs. Lambchop, correcting. "But who?" "Earth people." The voice, louder now, came from the Star Scouts radio. "Greetings from the giant planet. And its mighty people. Do you hear?" "Oh my," Mr. Lambchop turned up the volume. "It's them! They!" said Mrs. Lambchop. "For heaven's sake, Harriet," Mr. Lambchop said, and spoke loudly into the microphone. "Hello! Earth people here. Party of four. Peace-loving family." "Peace-loving," said the voice. "Good. So is mighty alien. Where are you, Earth people?" Stanley checked his star maps. "We're just where the tail of the Ralph's Comet meets star number 3,047,000. "Now what?" "Right," said the voice. "Keep going till you pass a star formation that looks like a foot. You can't miss it. Then just past a loop-side little white moon, start down. You'll see a pointy mountain, then a big field. Land there. See you soon, Earth people." "You bet," Mr. Lambchop said, and turned to his family. "The first contact with another planet. We're making history." They passed the foot-shaped star formation, then the looped moon, and Stanley piloted the Star Scout down. The darkness of space vanished as it descended, and at last the Lambchop saw clearly the planet it had taken so long to reach. Do you think they're excited? I would be really excited meeting some aliens that talk our language. The aliens were smallish as planets go, but nicely round and quiet, pretty. All in shades of brown, with markings not unlike the oceans and continents of the earth. A pointy mountain came into sight, and beyond it was a big field. There Stanley pressed the landing button. Vroom! Went the Star Scout rockets. The spaceship hovered, then touched down. Peering out, the lamb chop saw only a brown field with tan trees at the far side and brownish hills beyond. Curious, said Mr. Lambchop. Where are... Suddenly a message came, but not the sort they expected. Surrender, Earth people, said the radio. Your spaceship is trapped by our breakable trapping cable. You are prisoners. Surrender. Uh-oh. So here's the planet, and these space people might not be as friendly as they thought. Oh, now we're on chapter 5. Let's see what tomorrow happens. I hope they become nice. This is kind of scary now. The lamb chops might be in danger. Oh, no. Bye, guys.